Welcome to Devlin, no holds barred, where we look at the beautiful game through the eyes of former Notts County, Birmingham City, Sheffield United, Watford and Walsall winger Paul Devlin. On today's show we're going to discuss the crisis at Birmingham City, a football urban myth, strike partners and the international break, plus whatever issues you want Devlin to tackle. But firstly, how are you, mate? You okay?
I'm all good, yeah, Shannon.
Now, we're going to talk about Birmingham City because that's where we're going to start. Crisis or no crisis? What's your take on it?
Up until this weekend, I just thought, we're on a bad run, we can get out of it. After the weekend, and I wasn't at the game, but seeing a bit of feedback and seeing people that had been at the game interviewed, I feel for us now. We've got a really hard run of fixtures coming up after the international break. And make no bones about it, we are now in a relegation dogfight. What's
the biggest fear that you have about Birmingham? Because, all teams can play poorly, by putting in the performance, but, it doesn't quite work for you. You might get a decision that doesn't quite go your way. But it does appear fundamentally that there are splits within the dressing room and players being accused of not putting it in. And on Saturday, Birmingham City fans, in my opinion, best on the planet, shouting, "You're not fit to wear the shirt."
Yeah, I mean, I dread to think how many games I've been involved in where we've lost and we haven't been good enough. But there's a difference. The worrying thing for me was seeing fans interviewed after the game, and I saw about 5 or 6 different people interviewed, and every one of them mentioned 2 things that were alarming for me: lack of effort and lack of desire. Now, you can be not good enough. We've all been in games and situations where we haven't been good enough, or the team ain't been good enough. But to have that level that you as a player, that must cut you to the bone. It's got to. And if it doesn't, there's something wrong. And that's the worrying thing. I'm not saying for 1 minute those lads don't care whether they win, lose or draw. Yeah. But they've got to, you've got to give people something to cheer about. And desire, heart, passion, that should be your start point.
I think that's the bare minimum, isn't it? Yeah. And without the ball, you could have the worst game. I mean, you've played them, Dev. The ball's come over to you, your first touch has been awful, and then your second touch is worse. And as the game carries on, it doesn't get any better, but it's so much more important then to put it in off the ball and work your nuts off.
Well, as a player, and I think if you ask most players, they'll tell you, they know what type of game they're going to have within the first 5 minutes. Your first touch, your first tackle, your first run with the ball. You genuinely get a feel of how the game's going to... many a time I thought, oh, God, this ain't going to be my day today. But then you think, right, what can I do to help the team? I know personally I'm not going to be great today. I'm not going to be a match winner. I'm not going to... How can I still help? How can I still contribute? And that might be just by being a nuisance, for getting stuck in, by running around, getting in people's faces, because you can't play well every game. No, you can't. But what you can do is work your nuts off every game.
Now, dressing rooms you've been in, this isn't the first dressing room split. There must be every dressing room in the country, players that don't get on with each other, but they still put it in for one another, don't they?
Every day. Every club I was at, every day you'd have arguments in training, especially. I think it's a myth to think that everyone loves the manager, everyone gets on great with the teammates. Many a time I played for managers that I didn't particularly like. Every club I was at, there was people in the team that I wouldn't call friends and I wouldn't ring them up to go out with. But, you cross that white line on a Saturday, it's a common goal. You're going out there to win. And I think every workplace up and down the country will be the same. You're not telling me 100 people that work in a factory are all pals. You're going to like some better than others. And a dressing room's no different. But the big thing that you've got to do is at 3 o'clock on a Saturday, not that happens very often anymore, you've all got to be pulling in the same direction.
How important is the manager? Because in Birmingham we've had Gary Rowett recently, and then Rowett went and Zola come in, and Zola went and Harry's come in, and now Harry's gone and Cottrell's come in. You need continuity within your football club, don't you? And that change in your managers doesn't breed continuity.
No, it doesn't. You're absolutely right. I think the manager is important up to a point. When you go out, you cross over that white line, it's up to you and your 10 mates that you're playing with to get the job done. But he's your leader, he's your figurehead. I always liked a manager that was very honest, that was up front. Steve Bruce and Neil Warnock, Steve Thompson, who signed for Sheffield United. Men's men, if you like. They'd give you a rollicking, but they'd also tell you when you've done well. And that personally, that's where other players didn't like it. Other players didn't like a stand-up row in the dressing room or to be shouted at and told that they were no good today. I needed that as a player. I needed to kick up the backside sometimes. I wasn't one of those who liked the arm around me. Oh, come on, son, do this, do that. I responded better to the other way, which is probably a little bit more old school. But yeah, you do. As the figurehead of your club, your manager. But ultimately, the buck stops with the players when game time comes.
Because the most important thing is, at the end of the day, getting 3 points and getting a win on a Saturday or a Tuesday night or a Sunday these days. No matter when you play the game, it's all about the result, isn't it? Yeah. And sometimes it's not how you do it, although all fans, you want to win in a nice fashion, but you do need them 3 points fundamentally.
Listen, everybody, I think every fan up and down the country would like to go and watch their team and they play brilliant, attacking, flair football and win 3-0. Doesn't happen. Very rarely happens, actually, that you play like that. But what you do want to see, is a win. And you want to see your team setting up to try and win. I think that's the most important thing. I think at the minute there's a problem with the game where managers are setting up not to lose, and it makes the game boring.
Yeah, it does. It's fair football, isn't it?
Yeah,
and particularly when you're struggling.
Yeah.
And I think that in the Premier League, if you was to have no relegation from the Premier League, I think you'd have much more open, fast-flowing football. That's a problem that we've got in the modern game. It's all about the money. But these players are getting well rewarded for putting in poor performances. Now, the manager, fundamentally, who do you blame? Do you blame the players or do you blame the manager for selecting the players?
I think you got to look at both, really. I mean, I'm not privy to what goes on in the dressing room, so I'm only speculating. But the manager sets the team up. He tells you how he wants you to play.
Well, he's playing players out of position as well, isn't he?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's they've both got to take the blame. I do feel sorry for a player that's asked to go out there and play out of position.
Yeah, so do I.
Because as a player, you're never going to turn around and say, well, I can't do that. You want to go and play.
Yeah.
You play left back, playing goal, play anywhere you want. So I never blame the player. But like you say, if you've got personnel there that playing in an orthodox position and you're playing people out position and they're not playing that well, to me, it's not working. It's different if you all of a sudden put someone on the right wing or left wing who's never played there and they score you 2 or 3 goals. I found a position for this kid. But it doesn't work very often. But, it's... I've been on runs like this and I've been down the bottom of the league, and what you have to do, and is vital, you have to stay together because that's the only way you get out of it. If they're not all together and they don't all want to battle for Birmingham City, we won't get out of it. It's as simple as that.
But again, a big problem that he's got, he actually doesn't know his best 11 and he doesn't know what position to play those 11 players in.
Yeah, I mean, he's made a few changes, which is strange because obviously he's got the experience of working with a lot of the players at the end of last season. With 4 or 5 games in there now. Maybe he's still tinkering to find out his best team, but he's going to have to find it out pretty fast because, we're in a dogfight.
But again, back of last season, he was the coach there with Harry, who selected the team. You'd imagine that the coach who was working with you day in, day out knows what the player can do, probably more than the manager. I'm guessing Harry wasn't down at Wasdills as much as what Steve Cottrell was. So Steve would have a bigger insight into what the player is capable of.
Absolutely. And that is a surprising thing. But what we don't know is what's going on every day on the training ground.
Yeah.
And that makes a massive difference. I don't know what's going on in training, how the players are training, because I've seen it myself with Lou Cisse and Steve Bruce. Now, people love the Lou. But when he got left out of the team once, it's because he hadn't tried a leg in training. Yeah. He came back 2 days late from a trip to Senegal, and we were doing fitness work. And Steve, Brucey sent him off the training pitch because he just wasn't bothered. Now, people don't see that, but at the end of the week, I don't know how we got on that particular. Or why Cisse not playing? Because he hadn't tried a leg in training. So that's where it's difficult to. You're not in the know with that sort of thing. What's going on?
But then you get the media, don't you? And a lot of times, and we're not going to name names, but the media, it's pretty pointless listening to radio. Yeah. It's pretty pointless picking up a paper because none of them will rock the boat and tell the truth. Football's just full of bullshit, and almost what you read is just a complete waste of time. In fact, when you left Birmingham, I remember singing One Greedy Bastard to you, but that wasn't the case. All of the press knew exactly what your predicament was, but wouldn't print the truth and printed a crock of shite that made it very awkward for your return to St Andrews, didn't it?
Yeah, and I remember it. I think it was either Boxing Day or New Year's Day, but it was 2 years in a row that Sheffield came back to St Andrews, and I remember the whole ground to a man singing that.
We were?
Yeah, singing that. You was one of them.
Yeah.
But
Sus.
But that was because the press at the time knew that I'd fallen out with Trevor. They knew what the situation was, but they wouldn't print anything in my favour. A, because Trevor's gone down there, and B, because he wouldn't speak to them otherwise. Now, you can't be working for the Birmingham Radio or the Evening Mail or whatever, and then they say, well, the manager won't talk to me because you ain't got a job then. So it was one of them. It was frustrating at the time because I was made out the villain of the piece, and I wasn't really. People that know me know what went on. I don't need to go over old ground again. It was just one of those things, but it was the only time that my dad come and watch me everywhere, and I think that was the only time that he really got annoyed at a football match. I've been called many things down the years, but you think 6 months before the fans that were all singing that had voted me Player of the Year. So that was a hard thing. It was upsetting for me because I never wanted to leave Blues in the first place, but these things happen.
But again, you can't necessarily blame the fans because they just look at what they read and perceived you to be a greedy get for leaving. It was all about money, but it wasn't. See, I don't think, with the media, I don't think you should have Birmingham City people working at Birmingham City. I think you should have someone who's probably supports the Villa that goes and reports on the Blues, because I think that they get too close. It's like this urban myth in football as well, that you need a manager that knows the club. Absolute bollocks. Chapman never played for Arsenal or Huddersfield. Cloughy never played for Forest or Derby. Shankly never played for... Or Busby never played for United. All the great managers that win things have never played for the team that they were successful as manager.
I'll just quickly run through a few. Gary says that you need to put your boots back on. Dev, John says it all went downhill since they sacked Gary. The way we're going to go down, says Phoebe. I like to hear Dev, a great player for Blues and talks real sense. This team has no passion or desire to win games. It's us fans that are suffering, not them players with their big wage packets. Need a bit of transparency, says Gary. Maybe if there are issues, making them public might help resolve them. And the last one, have you seen the interview from Harley Dean? If not, he talks about groups and moaning between the team. Is this where we're going wrong, says Lewis.
Did you read that one from Simon Noonan as well? There.
This team has no passion or desire to win games. It's just fans that are suffering, not them players.
Now, Simon follows Blues home and away. He's a top lad. I used to sell the Made in Brum to him outside the Tilton Road end. But these are supporters that travel home and away. They're passionate fans. They see what goes on the pitch, and you can't pull the wool over their eyes. No,
they're great fans. Everyone knows what I think of the Blues fans. People can tell if you're trying your best.
Of course they can,
People can tell if you're giving everything you got. And I've said it many a time. People forget you for having a crap game. Forgive you for having a crap game. Because we've all had crap games. Messi and Ronaldo have had crap games. But as long as you're trying and people can see that, they'll go with you. No disrespect to Big Kevin Francis, Big Palomar, but Big Kev was no silky smooth player, let me tell you. But he was brilliant to play with because he ran his nuts off every game. He went in for tackles with his head that he shouldn't do, and he caused murders. And I love playing up front with Kev because I'd just stand back and watch. There'd be a big melee in the box, there'd be a head or an elbow, and the ball would break to me. Now, no one could say Kev was a fantastically skillful player, but he gave everything he had in every game.
Yeah, and I think that's what the players should... Again, it's a bare minimum.
Well, listen, I mean, the players read social media, the players, see the TV and that. They'll be seeing what's being said. And I tell you what, if I was a player and that was getting levelled against me, I would be mortified, absolutely mortified. And I'd think the next game... Whatever I'm going to do today, nobody's going to be able to level that at me. And hopefully that's what they're all saying.
To be fair, that's what Harley Dean did say.
Yeah.
He's struggling to go back with his wife and his kids. He ain't feeling. He's not feeling good about what's going on. But they're all going to see it like Harley Dean, are they?
And what did he say? He said there's people moaning in the streets.
Yeah, he says there's factions within the football club. There's like Rowett's lot, there's Zoe's lot, there's Harry's lot. There's it's
and that's unusual because you're very rare you get a player out coming and saying that, so it's quite refreshing that he's saying that. So obviously there is, listening to that, there is problems, but it's got to be sorted.
When you was there, Barry brought you in. What was Barry like to work with and work for?
Baz was fantastic, and I've spoke about Baz the last couple of days. I think he won't mind me saying this, and I mean it in a really nice way. Tactically as a coach, Barry wasn't brilliant.
He hadn't got a clue.
But I tell you what, he was brilliant at. He set up to win every game. Every single game, he'd try and win it. He wouldn't go, we'll only play one up front today and we'll see if we can nick a draw, maybe get one on the break. He'd try and win every game. He'd play 4-4-2 or even 4-3-3. He'd make 2 or 3 subs at a time and he'd go and win the game. And I tell you what he used to do, he used to entertain people. You know, if you ask most people who've been going down the last 40, 50 years, your favourite sort of spell or your favourite manager, I bet Baz would be in everybody's top 3. Because it was enjoyable. Yeah. It was enjoyable. You're working all week and you're spending big dough to come down to St Andrews. You might get beat, but God, we got beat 6-4 today, 5-3, or you know something, or we won 4-1. Yeah. You know, you don't want to be coming down to it was 0-0. We had one shot on goal. You don't want to be seeing it. Now, I think in the Championship, especially, you know, it's a hard league, toughest league in the world to get out of. Yeah. But I don't think the team at the top is a million times better than the team at the bottom. So, if I was a manager at the team, every home game I'd set up and try and win. You can understand going to the top of the league, shutting up shop. But to me, Blues are capable of beating any team in the league.
But you say, again, back in the day, we used to, you know, when you used to play, we used to, you know, you'd know that Birmingham City, if we're playing the likes of Manchester United or Liverpool, we probably aren't going to win, but still have a go. But them games, it's almost like a free hit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You ain't got nothing to lose, so why don't you set up and try and win the game at Anfield? And, you know, back in the 70s, Birmingham used to get some decent results at Anfield.
Well, that's it. It is. Nobody expects you to win. I remember the first year we got promoted, we took 4 points off Liverpool. Yeah. We drew up there and we beat them at home. You know, but we had a go at them. You know, 9 times out of 10, when you play those teams, you're going to get beat anyway. Yeah. So get beat having a go. Yeah. Don't get beat not trying to have a go back at them and maybe nick the game.
If you're going to go down fighting.
Yeah, go down your own way.
When Trevor come, and we got Barry's players as well. What was the dynamics like that? Was there any splits in the dressing room then? Big players coming in?
No,
was there any resentment?
I mean, to be fair, Trevor got most of Barry's signings out. I think me and Granger were the only ones that lasted for any length of time, really. But he brought in, obviously, the big 5, Paul Furlong, Barry Orn, Gary Ablett, God rest him, and Brucey. And I've got to say, all those lads coming in...
Brought in Newell as well,
Mike Newell, yeah. I've got to say, all those lads was great lads. Great to go. And Brucey coming in, you're looking, you're thinking, bloody hell, you got the ex-captain of Man U, done this, done that. Gary Ablett, Liverpool, Everton. You know, Mike Newell, Blackburn, Shearer, Barry Orn, all big names at that time, and they were all great. They integrated well. No big time Charlies amongst them, so there wasn't really any splits. I mean, Trevor got most of Barry's signings out within 6 months. To be fair, I think the only reason he didn't get me out was because I was top scorer that first season, and you know, halfway through his second season, he managed to get me out. And obviously, Grange stood the test of time. So there wasn't so much a split in the camp. A manager came in, and I perfectly understand this. They want their own team in, which happens at most places.
Now, going back to the managers that we said, this urban myth in football, there is no need to have a manager that knows the club, that knows what the fans feel like, because all the fans are the same. Up and down the country, they're passionate about the club, and they all love the club just as much as the next group of fans.
I think that's just a PR thing. Yeah, that's just, you know, if you've got an ex-player who was popular as a player coming to manage your club, you get a little bit more leeway. Look, Trevor, perfect example, the best player Blues have ever had. 6 years as Blues.
Certainly not the best manager.
Not the best manager, but people loved it because it was Trevor. And that happens. But I'll tell you what every club wants. Every manager wants. And they'll say they know how the club run and this is how it. Every manager wants to get his best 11 players on the pitch and win games. Yeah. That's any club in the land. So it's, you know, to say, oh, well, they play this way, they play that way. That's all they want to do. You know, it's... People going about West Ham, the Academy of Football, but listen, you know,
that's a long time ago.
Yeah, you know, and I'm listening to Albion fans saying, "Well, we used to fast-flowing attacking football, but you're going back to the days of Cunningham and Batson and Regis. Then going back 30 years, so you know, I have to wonder really what you know when that comes out that they've got to know the club what it really means, because to me it's a nonsense.
Recruitment in football, I mean, how important is it? It just strikes me that there's a lot of foreign investment now in the British game. They buy these football clubs and they seem to employ people that have just not got a clue how to run a club. You know, we talked about this on the last show. There isn't enough former pros working in the game, whether coaching or working in an administration role or being around the club, advising people on what to do. It just strikes me that, you know, the recruitment is all wrong. I mean, there's got to be something fundamentally wrong with your football club when you keep picking the wrong managers.
Yeah, and you do wonder who actually is in charge.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, at most clubs, I mean, doing homework on players, that seems to have gone out the window. I remember you know, I won't embarrass a player, but he was going to go to Sheffield. Neil Warnock ringing me when I'd gone back to Blues. Yeah. What's he like? What's he like as a lad? What does he have a drink? Does he have a beer? Is he married? You know, doing his homework. What type of bloke is he? I don't know whether that still goes on. You know, but you've got to make sure, as well as the right player, you've got to make sure it's the right character. Yeah. Because there's nothing worse. I've been in changing rooms where a new player will come in. And you think, what an arsehole. And it can disrupt. Now, if you've got 3 or 4 of those characters, makes it hard work if you're the manager.
It does. And again, you're right. I think, you know, back in the day, I think Busby, he famously, I think he went to see Tommy Taylor play about 35 times for Barnsley before he bought him. And he told Johnny Carey to go up and have a look at it. His captain when he wasn't playing. And Carey was so like... felt that important that the gaffer had picked me up, and he says, thanks, that's the kind of report that I've had many times back. And only then did he go and buy him. But it seems to me that there's a lot of these videos, these football videos, this Football Manager and FIFA, and they buy players on the strength of what they can do on a bloody video than what they can actually do on a football field, and they don't know nothing about the background of the player either.
Well, the thing about it is you're never going to put anyone's bad points on a video.
No, of course you're not.
I remember when we signed Ferdinand Coley, Brucey signed, and I don't know.
How did he sign him?
Well, there must have been a Hollywood special effects man put his video together, because let me tell you, lovely kid, but without doubt, and Martin Granger said the same against Villa when he came up, and I was having a beer with him. Without doubt, the worst player we've ever seen. Now, how he got signed, and the most amazing thing about that as well, after we got rid of him, he went to someone like Lazio or Roma. Yeah. So his agent must have been the best agent in the world at the time. But yeah, you know, it makes you wonder how much homework, you know, clubs really do, don't they?
But again, I think if you have former pros, people that understand the game, you ain't going to make them mistakes all the time. But it seems as though we just keep repeating the same mistakes in football, and then we're surprised that we're in the shit and all football clubs have got crisis.
I think what it is as well, because there is that much, especially at the top level, there's advisors advising the advisors.
But they don't know what they're on about,
I mean, that's why I take my hat off to Wolves, because I thought, when they brought the new foreign coach in and signing all the foreign players, I looked at what they did before with Zeng and I thought, this ain't going to work. No, but they have got their recruitment spot on as their position in the league tells you. So it can be done, but more often than not, it doesn't work out. I don't think if you don't get your recruitment spot on.
How good is it looking at your former clubs and seeing them do so well? I mean, Watford are riding. I mean, okay, the goalkeeper got injured, they were 2-0 up, lost the lead and got beat at Everton 3-2. And Sheffield United, superb, round the top of the Championship. Looks like they're going to be back in the Premier League.
And Notts County, top of the league.
Yeah, so, you know.
Yeah, they've all gone uphill since I left. No, it's great because, you know, I had great times at all those clubs. You know, I love my time everywhere. Obviously, everyone knows I'm a Blues fan, I'm a Blue Nose, but, you know, I played more games for Sheffield United than I did for Birmingham. But it's great, and Chris Walder, I played with Chris at Notts County, played with him at Sheffield United.
What's he like as a person? Because he has done a magnificent job. In fact, I mean, Joey, because we're going to touch about Walder here. Joey, when he was on about Unsworth, and I think the thing is with Joey Barton, Barton sees things as he says it as he sees it. He was doing a commentary. He's an Evertonian. They were getting beat, and he's just looked at Unsworth, and he did say, he just looks like a PE teacher. And to be honest, you look at Unsworth, the way he dressed, he did look as though he'd just come off a school playing field, didn't he? You know, and like with Wilder, you know, he surely should be a kind of, I mean, you know, I'm not saying because all the Sheffield United fans are going to get up in arms here, but he's done a great job at Sheffield United. Do you think if he got a foreign sexy name, he would be in with a shout for the Everton job? A little bit like Sean Dyche as well. Dyche has done a great job at Burnley Football Club, but again, it probably will be a team like Everton will go foreign, just like Leicester done with their latest recruitment.
Well, I mean, you say he's done well with Sheffield United, he's done well with Northampton, he's done well with Oxford, Chris, he's done well everywhere he's been. What type of man he's like? Very, like us, very down to earth. Says it as you say, I played for 2 years with Dyche at Watford, so I know Dyche really well. Both of them similar characters, hard working, they'll get the teams organised, they'll get them fit. And it was funny because somebody on the radio yesterday was on about the West Ham position.
Yeah.
And they said none of them want Moyes. I said, well, why are they going for David Moyes, who's failed it miserably in his last 3 clubs? But someone like Chris Wilder, a young up-and-coming manager, Dyche's already in the Premiership and, getting linked with the Everton job. But why is he not getting linked with the West Ham job?
I'm amazed he's not.
So you're going to get to David Moyes, who, let's be honest, did well with Everton 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And it just baffles me. And maybe if if he was an Italian-sounding name like you say, or a Spanish name, maybe he would get linked with his job. But at the end of this season, he might be getting Sheffield United into the Premiership, and he's a massive Sheffield fan as well.
One thing I don't like doing, I hate playing devil's advocate, but he has been given a 6-month job, Eddie Moyes, so it could possibly be that Dyche could be their number 1 target, or Wilder could be another target for them. But because they're in a club at the moment and they want to get the season finished, I don't know how long they've got on the contract, but probably they're waiting to the end of the season to get the man that they really want. But that sometimes can be a bad way to approach your managerial recruitment, can't it?
Yeah. Well,
someone can snabble him in between.
Definitely, Moyes getting 6 months means he's not the man they want long term. But on the flip side of that, say if he goes on a 10-match unbeaten run and they have to give him the job, and the same way, if Chris Wilder gets Sheffield United promoted to Premiership, I guarantee he's not walking out on them to go to West Ham. Everton might get Dyche. So it's a Dyche thing to do if that's your plan. It can backfire on you.
But I mean, to be fair, again, in the modern game, 6 months, that's quite a large contract, isn't it? 4, 5, 6 games, you are under fire, you're under pressure. They reckon that Stuart Pearce maybe is number 2, but with all the work that he's doing, TV work and media work, he's hardly going to give that up for the prospect of 6 months at West Ham United.
Well, that's just going back to what we said about ex-players. That's a PR number, isn't it? Get Stuart Pearce in, ex-player. I think he's took Alan Irving with him, and it's really difficult for him before he set foot in the club because 99% of the fans don't want him there. He's on a 6-month contract, so the players are going to say, well, this bloke ain't going to be here next season anyway. So it's a really difficult situation for him. If he pulls it round and they finish halfway up the league, more power to him, but very, very difficult job to take in those circumstances.
And what's he going to do in the transfer window in January? Come and play for me. Well, you ain't going to be there.
Well, you wouldn't imagine Sullivan and Gold are going to give him fortunes to spend if they're only giving him a 6-month contract.
But again, if you're the manager, I'm Moisey. I'm trying to get you to come and play for me at West Ham in January. You're going to be like, Gaffer, you might be out in May.
Yeah, somebody comes in and they want their own players.
And they don't like you, so you're bummed out. And you've got a decent gig where you are at the moment.
It just seems a no-win situation for him.
Brainless situation, to be fair.
And and it's one of those where nobody's happy with it. Nobody's happy with the appointment. Nobody's happy with the term of contract. And I don't see how anybody wins out of it, to be honest.
No, I don't. And I don't see how, the West Ham fans, they're up in arms, as you
say. Quite rightly so.
And I can't see that turning quickly.
Well, they're hating the stadium, most of them, by the sound of it. They want the board out. They don't want the manager. They're languishing down towards the bottom of the league. It's it's bad times for them.
Going to a new stadium like that, and we know what the dynamics are like. You're quite a long way away from the pitch. Are you much further away from the pitch there that you are at Wembley? Because it strikes me at Wembley you've never been on top of it.
Yeah, Wembley's. I've not played at the new Wembley. I've played at the old one a couple of times, and it is quite far away. But it's one-offs there, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're not.
Well,
playing
not for Tottenham this season.
Well, not for Tottenham, but you're not playing there every other week. Yeah, because it's always going to be a big game, a special game.
50,000 Hammers fans, if they're winning, there's going to be a decent atmosphere.
But Upton Park was great.
Oh,
Upton Park was a fantastic ground. Right on top of you, compact, taking a throw in, you could feel them breathing down your neck. Great passionate fans. So I fully understand why they're disappointed in leaving there, because I've not been to the new ground, but just looks a bit soulless to me when I see it on the TV.
But I think these modern stadiums are, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all the same. If you take the colour of seats away, you wouldn't know which one's which, really. Leicester, Derby, all those ones, those big balls, Ricoh Arena. But that's the way it's gone. There's not many of the old grounds. Everton would be one. I can't think really. Anfield,
and they're moving as well.
They're redeveloping. So it's a shame. Yeah.
Homogenised and sanitised.
That's what it is, yeah, very much so.
That's where the game of football's going. Going back to selections, 2 up front. It's always got to be 2 up front. You need a strike partner, don't you?
A lot of teams don't do it anymore. I mean, when I was growing up as a kid...
Why don't they, Dave? Because the
know.
game ain't changed, has it? You know, it's a simple game. If you've got the ball, you got to try and kick it in their net. And if you ain't got the ball, you got to try and stop it going in your net. I mean, you can have all these tactics, all these certificates, all these. It's all a load of bollocks. It's all a load of bullshit. You ain't got the ball, you want to win it back. The further you win it up the pitch, the easier it is to get another strike on their goal.
I think we touched on it earlier on. The fear of losing now is greater than the will to go and win a game. Yeah. I mean, to me, every home game I'd play 4-4-2. And I'd find the personnel to play that. And I'd say to my wingers, you get down the ball and get those crosses in. Say to my forwards, get in the box, get your shots away. Now, you sound like a bit of a dinosaur saying that, but like you say, the game hasn't changed that big. And it's not as if you're playing Man City at home. Yeah. In that championship, most of the teams are of a similar type level. You're not going to come up against anyone who's streets and streets ahead of you. So you can have a go at home, especially. I think
games that you've seen in the Championship. What players have done it for you so far?
I mean, the team I'd probably say that impressed me the most so far has been Bristol City.
Yeah,
I think they could be a dark horse for promotion. I don't know the depth of the squad, but they look a good team. I think Villa have got good players going forward. Sambalonga, the kid at Middlesbrough, looks like he's got goals in him. But overall, I don't think there's an outstanding team. Wolves look a very good... I don't know a lot about many of their players, to be honest with you. But they look a really good unit.
I like David Brooks at your old club, Sheffield United.
Yeah.
He looks the player.
Yeah, I mean, Sheffield, Chris has got them playing great, and, I hope they can maintain it throughout the season. It's a long old season, the Championship. We're only, 12, 15 games, or whatever it is.
How difficult is it? I mean, you say it's hard. How difficult is it? Psychologically, is it more difficult, or physically? Because you have the game on the Saturday, then pretty much it's Tuesday or Wednesday night. Until you have that international break, games are coming thick and fast.
Do you know what that all depends on? Yeah. How well you're doing.
Yeah.
Physically and psychologically. Physically and psychologically, it's easy if you're playing well. If you're on a bad run, it becomes hard work. So I think that's just a mental thing. You're all geared up. You're fit enough to play. I mean, I don't know. We've got to rest him this and rest him that. You want to play. Most players want to play twice a week because it means you do nothing in training. Yeah. You do hardly anything in training. So I always love playing twice a week. And at the end of the day, you're a young, fit man in your 20s. Should be able to play 2 games of football a week and train. So I just think it's weird. It's always felt the year that we got promoted, and I see it a lot most seasons, there's always a team that comes with a good late run. There always seems to be one team that's been up there all season and fall away. And then you get one team that comes out of nowhere. So I think it's always better to come up on the rails rather than be the team that's up there all year. And then you might lose a couple of games. I remember Huddersfield doing it when Bruce was manager years ago. Derby the other year under McLaren doing it. And the year we got up, we came from nowhere, nicked 6th place. So I always feel it's better to finish a lot stronger than be up there from day one.
When you're in that relegation battle, though, players seem to get injured more.
Yeah,
is that bottle? Is that because they just don't fancy going out and having that?
Well, I think you have to take every individual player for his word on that. But you never seem to get the rub of the green when things aren't going for you, whether that be injuries or.
But if they were playing the FA Cup final the week after, they'd find a way of being fit for that game, wouldn't they? I think Barnsley.
I think they'd make a remarkable recovery. I used to play with a lot of foreign lads at Sheffield when I first went there. And let me tell you, they didn't need much excuse not to play. Roger Nielsen was a fantastic player. But if you sneezed on him and he didn't like it, he wouldn't play. He wouldn't play unless he was 100% fit. Whereas the British lads, they'll play if the legs are hanging off.
Were you there at Sheffield when they played the Albion? That game?
The Battle of Bramall Lane?
Yeah.
No, I was... I think I would come back to Blues, or I was suspended. It wasn't. It was close to. I can't remember to be. I didn't play. I didn't play in that game, but there was a bit of need gone on because I think it was Andy Marshall in the game the last time we played him. Big George Santos. He did an outrageous tackle on Big George Santos, and a career-threatening tackle really. And we had this other French kid there, Laurent de Jaffo, who was a tough kid, and that was George's best pal. And he just said from day one, right, when we played the Albion, he's getting it, Marshall's getting it.
Oh.
And George was back as well. So I always knew that was going to happen that day.
Yeah.
And I remember we stopped off somewhere for a pre-match one of the times, and Albion were there as well. And he walked up to Andy Marshall and slapped him.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and just nobody would do it because George and Big Lauren and that was Andy lads, to be fair. So that was always going to happen because there was needle from that tackle in that game.
But again, it happens in football, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, things go on previously, it gets carried on to the next game,
it does, yeah.
and you're going to have it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, there's times where you think someone's got one over on you, and
Yeah.
you think you can't wait to play them again.
Yeah.
And you think, right, my first tackle is going to be to do you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to get me on. But no, I mean, that happens every week in games. There's always players that you really detest playing against. I mean, Blues fans probably hated Muscat more than anyone, you know. Martin O'Connor and Grange, they'll tell you they couldn't wait to kick Muscat. And you'll get players like that throughout the season. And it happens and vice versa.
Any player that you really hated playing against?
No, not really.
No.
Not really.
No one give you a good kick and you thought,
Oh,
right,
yeah,
bastard,
loads.
you're having it.
Loads give me a good kicking, and, you know, the red mist descended at times, but I wouldn't really pick out anyone in particular and go, I hated him or I detested playing against him. It was just part and parcel of it. You expected to get kicked.
Yeah.
In the same way that I expected that, I needed to kick a few.
Chris, we got any more questions and comments from the chat room?
It is a good one, actually.
Yeah,
do you think the players should be accountable for actions live on camera? In Sweden, they interview players live at half-time and full-time to question their accountability.
With regards what? Swearing, fouling?
I think it's a general everything, really, you know, how the game's going, where they think it's panning out and whatever. Get them to tell us what is going on in that dressing room.
Well, I don't think you're ever going to get that, really, are you? Players ain't going to be too truthful.
No, I mean, accountability. I mean, what I will say, you're going to see players swearing, you're going to see players spitting, you're going to see players, things going on off the ball, you're going to see...
It's a game of football,
you're going to see players...
Yeah.
If you don't like that, go and watch tennis.
Yeah.
Where I would like to see players picked up on is when they go a little head to head like that, and then they go down holding the face.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you get tapped in the ribs, you go down holding, because I think that's embarrassing.
Yeah. And diving.
Yeah, and diving. I think players should be pulled up for that, but, you know, not if you're both tossing and somebody throws an elbow or somebody throws an arm, because that happens. You know, it's a man's game. It still is up till now a contact game. So I wouldn't hold many players accountable for that, but the out and out cheating and diving and feigning injury, call them out, embarrass them.
I'd like an accountability in the game for the referee.
Yeah.
You know, when they've made decisions.
Yeah.
I think I've only ever seen one on Match of the Day. I think it was Durkin, and he come out and I think he said, "Look, I got it wrong," and I thought that was refreshing. No referee's ever been on Match of the Day.
I mean, I'm not a great fan of referees anyway,
No, I'm not.
to be honest, but I do think they're getting poorer. I do think the players aren't helping because they're conning them. Players are conning them more. So I realise it's a really difficult job. What I found towards the end of my playing career was that the referees got that arrogant.
Really?
You couldn't have a bit of crack with them. You couldn't have a bit of banter.
Who was the most arrogant? Well, names.
Grandpa.
Really?
Grandpa.
The thing from
Yeah.
Tring.
Yeah.
There was a programme about him. He seemed kind of like showbiz, like skating on ice and all this bullshit. You're just a ref.
What it was towards the end when I'm playing, so you go back 10, 11 years, you had like Jeff Winter, Uri. I mean, I saw Uri Rennie at a Sheffield United match. Ask one of the Stuart, can you put me somewhere where I don't have to sign any autographs? Uri Renner. So it was just at the time of Jeff Winter, Uri Renner. Who was the school teacher? Ellery.
Yeah.
Absolute
knobhead.
Div. Just a div. And they were like the first sort of high profile ones who were doing bits in the paper, doing bits of media. You got Dermot Gallagher now on Sky. You know, I think they think they're as important as the players.
Yeah.
You know, the best referees are the ones you don't even know out there. I mean, very early on in my career, I had Roger Milford, grey hair, and he was brilliant. You could have a bit of banter with him. You could tell him he was being crap, and he'd say, "Well, you were having a shit game as well." Yeah. You couldn't say anything. You can't. Clattenburg, he looks like the type of bloke that you couldn't say anything to.
Yeah.
Now, the best referees are the ones that you can have a bit of dialogue with. You can take the piss out of them. They'll take the piss out of you.
Yeah.
But they seem very aloof now. They know the game they know the rules inside out, but they don't know the game.
Yeah.
And I look at, I was saying to someone the other day, if you got 50. Not even ex-pros, people that play football in a room, and show them one challenge, they'd probably, most of them would agree, yeah, that's a foul, or no, he's gone over a bit easily. I don't think you could do that with 50 referees.
Yeah.
Because they haven't played.
Why don't former pros go down the refereeing route?
Because they'd have to start right at the very bottom of a Sunday league or whatever.
But why?
And take, well, that's my question.
Yeah, why?
Why? And then take them however many years to get there, and they need to earn a wage.
Yeah.
The top referees now are on good money.
Yeah, they are.
Really good money.
Yeah.
And I think if it was accessible to ex-pros to get there, within I'm not saying straight away, but within a reasonable time frame, not 10, 15 years, I think you would get a lot more players doing it.
But again, fitness, you'd have the former pro that's pretty fit, knows the game because they played it, and knows what to look for within the game. You can't kind of can you?
Well, I think that's it. Most players will know. I can tell watching basketball. He's done him there. No, it's a genuine mistake. Or he's gone over too easy. Well, no, he has been clipped because we've played the game.
It's like with the foot up. I mean, Marnie, when he put the foot up and he got sent off, he went for the ball.
Yeah.
He had to go for that ball. It's a long ball. It's a through ball. The only way he could have latched onto that ball is putting his foot up there and trying to get round the goalkeeper to score. And he gets a red card.
But it's all what it drives you balmy when you'll see a goalie coming out to catch a ball and he'll jump with his knee up at head height. I remember Edwin van der Sar doing it to Sav when we played Fulham. Sav's chased the ball down. He's come up and he's kneed Sav straight in the nose. Well, you could have missed Sav's nose, to be fair. But you're thinking if a midfielder had done that, it's a sending off. Same way as when you're a forward chasing the ball to the byline and the defender will just obstruct you.
Yeah.
You do that anywhere else on the pitch, it's obstruction of foul. But referees will let defenders get away with it. So I used to think to myself, well, you should be entitled to swap the legs out from the defender. If we're playing no rules, you should be allowed to do that. Yeah. So, the little things like that do drive you mad watching the game. But, I don't make the rules. And I'll say it again, it's a really hard job being a referee. But,
it is, yeah.
I don't think they're great at the moment, no.
No, I don't. And the overhead kick as well. You see so many goals disallowed for foot being up. But, the overhead kick, your foot's got to be up over your head. By definition, that's what the kick is.
It's very difficult to do one without it being head height,
So how do you not... Where does it become dangerous play and not dangerous play?
Yeah, that's it.
It's one of them, and I think you've got to use your intelligence, and I think you've got to use that interpretation of what's going on and what the player... Is the player trying to kick him in the head, or is the player trying to win the ball? He's just seen him. Because you do, don't you? You're running for a ball, you're looking at it, you're not... All you see is that ball, and then in your periphery vision, you see someone and you think, fuck, it's too late now, I'm gone for it, I'm committed, and okay, you catch him, but it wasn't intentional.
Yeah, I mean, and you'll see that a million times. I mean, how many times have you seen people sent off and you think, well, he ain't really, it's a bad time, but he ain't meant it. Now, there's that many different rules and they seem to change every season, so is the grey areas, isn't the grey areas, I don't know. But at the moment, it seems that every foul's a booking.
Exactly.
And every tackle's a foul.
Yeah.
That's what it appears when you go and watch a game these days. And, people love a good tackle. But the art, and it's an art. You see someone, like a Souness, or I remember Peter Beardsley used to do it brilliant. He'd slide tackle and he'd hook his foot round and get the ball and get up and go away with it. Yeah. And you very rarely see people doing that in the game now, because the tackling side of it seems to have gone out of it.
From the side, can you? I mean, what's wrong with tackling? Okay, going through someone and putting your studs through them, all right, fair enough. Yeah. But tackling from the side and winning the ball fairly, what's wrong with that? But again, that's outlawed in the game. It's almost so they want to have it as like a non-contact game now.
Well, it seems to be going that way, and it's a shame, because some of the great players I've seen down here, a big part of their game was tackling. Kenny Burns was at the game on the Villa game. You wouldn't want to be going into a 50-50 with Big Kenny, would you? Mick Harford, my hero. But it's a shame, because it is a skill. To be able to tackle well is a skill. Yeah. But the powers that be don't seem to want it in the game, especially at the top level.
But again, going back to Kenny Burns, remember the wall when Forest were playing Arsenal? I forget the lad's name that got in the wall, and these were the days before the cameras all around everywhere. And Burnsy's had a look to see if there's any cameras, and then nutted him. You used to get things like that went on in the game. Yeah, you don't get them now.
No, and Kenny, great character. He's always great company to be in, Kenny, and he's got a million stories to tell you. And
I think people go on about that side of him. They forget how good a player he was.
Up front and at the back.
Centre half or centre forward. So, and the same with Mick Harford and Colton and people tend to remember, that they were tasty lads and they'd get stuck in. They were top players as well. Really, really good players that could do that side of the game as well.
But again, in terms of Kenny Burns, one of the best central strikers I've seen down in Birmingham, and one of the best defenders.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could play, and I said to Burnsy when I think it was a return of the 70s or something, and I said, Ken, where do you prefer to play, up front or at the back? And he said, I didn't care. Yeah. As long as I was playing, I didn't care where I would play.
No, that's the thing. You just want to be in the team, and you look at the teams he played in at Blues and Forest, top team. So you'd just be happy to get in either of those teams with the players they had then.
But again, every team back in the day had an horrible bastard in the middle of the park or somewhere centrally that would put the foot, like you were saying, like with Souness. You'd have Billy Bremner up at Leeds, the silent assassin Johnny Giles. Yeah. I mean, he could play, but he was a dirty get, mind you, the whole of Leeds word. But you need that in the game of football. You need players. You need senior pros. You need you need that leadership. And again, that's one thing that Birmingham don't seem to lack. In fact, Mark Roberts' mum tweeted last week that the team lacks desire and lacks leadership.
Yeah, and you're probably right. I mean, I think Davis has been great for us for 2 years, and he does do those horrible things, the tracking back, the tackling. It's not happening for him at the moment for whatever reason, and it's unfair just to say that about him. But you need that type of player who is going to put the foot in the middle of the park, who is going to be nasty, who is nasty to his own team at times. Say, listen, you ain't doing this. Get it right, get a move on. It doesn't look like we've got that type of character at the moment. And they are vital because the best teams do have that.
The best centre half, Dev, you've played with?
Oh, best centre half.
Is that what that number 5 was for?
Yeah, that's fine.
Best centre half.
Who's the best centre half that you've seen down Brummagem or who you've played with or played against?
I don't know. It's a really difficult. Played with, and I didn't realise how good he was. Well, the two of them really, until you played with them, and they were both at the end of the career. Was Gary Ablett and Steve Bruce.
Yeah.
I mean, Brucey, the amount of times he had this great thing where, from a goal kick, he'd go with the forward, he'd scream, and then he'd drop off at the last minute, bring it down on his chest, and then he'd smash it into me or Kev Francis or Furs at 100 mile an hour, and it'd go bouncing off everywhere. So I'd have to say, listen, you're not knocking up to Mark Hughes now. Give us a chance with these passes. And Gary Ablett the same. When Brucey came, I thought, he's just an edit and kick it merchant, but he could play. He could play. And Gary Ablett the same as well. But we had some good young centre halves. So Gary Breen was really good. Yeah. When I first come and we sold him to Coventry for big money. Obviously, they just missed Dicey. But I love Dicey as a player because he'd head through a brick warfare. Yeah. So it's really hard to pick one because I'll be sitting in the house tonight and I'll think, God, remember when I played at Sheffield or Notts County with him 15 years ago? So it's a difficult one on the spot.
Well, we do because we don't prepare nothing. We just say things as we see it. But one of the Halloween, there was 5 great goals by a Blues player. Yeah. I don't know why, but it was Brian Hughes. Yeah. How good was Hughesy, and how frustrating was that kid as well, because he could do anything. Yeah,
Hughesy was a great player, great ability, very skillful, and a good goal scoring midfielder. Yeah. Didn't really like the physical side of the game too much. Yeah. But no, he was good, and he had a good long career. Yeah. But type of player that, not a luxury player, that'd be unfair on him, but you'd need a Martin O'Connor alongside.
Similar to Jonathan Hunt was another player.
Jonathan Hunt is the most two-footed player I ever played with, and I remember the one season he got 3 hat-tricks from central midfield, and I played with Hunty at Sheffield as well. So two really good, gifted players, but you'd need a snotter alongside him in the middle. Yeah. You couldn't play Jonathan Hunt and Brian Hughes. Nah. Because I don't think there'd be a tackle between them. So, Hughesy was great as long as you balanced him off with a Martin O'Connor or a Tebberley or someone like that.
But again, going back to the game, it isn't like rocket science. You do need partnerships all over the pitch. You need a good central striking partnership. You need a good midfield partnership. You need a good central defensive partnership. And as a right winger, you need a decent right back. Good fullback. You've got an understanding with, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, for years I played with Chris Short, Craig Short's brother, and Chris was brilliant because he never wanted me to come back and defend, which was great. He loved tackling. Yeah. He was the fittest player I ever played with, and he was brave as a lion. And all he'd do, and I could kiss him now if he was there. As soon as he got the ball under control, he passed it to me.
Yeah.
He passed it to me, give it to me. I used to hate playing with these fullbacks who think they could play.
Yeah.
And they'd run inside and I'd be screaming out there, just being a little bit selfish there. But he was fantastic to play with, Chris. A proper warrior. Had to retire early through. He had a strange illness where he had to finish early, but he was brilliant to play. Jeff Kenner as well, players like that defend really well and give you the ball quickly.
But again, in the modern game, these fullbacks, they almost think that they are wingers, don't they? I mean, Guardiola, the most important, I need my wing-backs, I need to set my team up with wing-backs. Wingers seem to be a dying trend in football these days. And in my day, the way I used to look at it is, you've got number 2 on your back for one reason, and I've got number 7 or number 11 on my back for another good reason. And it seems arse about face in the game.
Yeah, I mean, they rave about defenders that can attack and they rave about wingers that can defend. Milner has great defence. Well, play a winger that's a winger and a defender that's a defender.
Exactly, yeah.
Don't try and do it arse about face. But yeah, you're right, not many teams play with one winger now, let alone 2. I look at that great Man U team of the early 90s with Giggs one side, Kanchelskis, Cantona and Hughes or whoever down the middle. Fantastic to watch. Don't see it now.
Birmingham Lazaridis, he was a left winger.
Stan was brilliant. He'd get across him from anywhere, fast. Probably the best left winger I played with, Stan, without a doubt. Yeah.
But again, it's beat your fullback, put the ball in the box, and let your central strikers have something to feed off.
Well, I just think wingers excite people. I remember Jose Dominguez when he come on the scene, or Stan. Yeah. When they get the ball and they get their head down and they go off and running, you can feel the expectation build up in the ground. And it's great. It's great to see a winger in full flow.
And the nice thing as well, Dev, because when you've gone round the back, you're turning the defensive team around, and the one thing that a defender don't like doing is facing their own goal.
Well, they don't like being run at, and they don't like being run at with pace, and Dominguez and Lazaridis and people like that, Louis Donovan, that's what they had. And defenders are terrified of it.
But again, what they do like to do is fullbacks getting the ball and whacking the ball, a diagonal ball for a centre half to just eat. It's meat and drink for him.
Even if you're a big centre forward, it's hard if the ball's getting knocked up in the sky because you're going backwards, trying to win it that way, and the centre half's coming onto you. So even if you're a 6-footer, it's a difficult thing to get under control.
But again, Birmingham don't seem to have got that, do they? They might play Shay Adams or Vassell. I mean, Vassell, although they played well against the Villa, and sadly he's out now, but he looked a few times. He's gone like.
Yeah, well, I
don't want this ball up here all the time. I want it to feet.
Yeah, what Vassell wants is he wants it in behind.
Yeah, of course he does.
Because he's the quickest player in the league. He wants it over the top of John Terry. And John Terry was terrified of his pace, by the way.
Yeah, of course
as everyone in the league will be. So it's horses for courses. It's no use putting Vassell up front and lumping everything up front. No. You've got to turn it down the channels and utilise his pace. Same with Adams. Adams is not going to win balls all day. If you're the size of Endai and you've got someone that big up there, put it in the air. But you've got to play to your players' strengths.
Do you think there's a place for Djukovic in the team at the moment as someone that can actually win a ball, knock it on, and let a smaller, faster striker latch on to it?
Definitely.
Something to build in that final third.
Definitely. I don't think Gallagher's had the greatest of times since he's come in, and I know he's not played down the middle the last couple of games. But I think if you are going to play a focal point and you're going to play the ball up to someone rather than in behind, then Djukovic is the man.
Yeah. Jota, what do you reckon about the little fella?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a great deal of him at the moment. Looks as if he's got a lot of ability. Very, very one-footed. If you're playing him on the right-hand side, I know if I was the fullback, I'd just be showing him down the outside all the time because he'll do anything not to kick the ball with his right foot. But obviously got a lot of ability. I'd like to see him more central so he can go either way. But it's early doors in his career, but he looks like he's got a lot of ability.
But again, anybody with a brain, you look at him playing, you'd play him just off the front two, where he looks as though he's got a box of tricks. Yeah. And defenders don't like players attacking them.
No.
They don't like skillful players with fast feet around the box. Penalty.
Yeah.
They don't.
And he's got that. He's got fast feet. It's just finding that position in the team and the setup in the team where you can accommodate him.
I'd play 2 up front, I'd play him behind, and then have me midfield and a flat back 4. But I do think we need leaders in that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting now over the international break to see, what he comes up with for the next game.
He's actually said they're not going to have an international break, didn't he?
Well, the lads will be happy about that. No, listen, I've had it times like that when you've been on a bad run, so right, nobody's having any days off.
Dubai!
And the players will hate it, by the way. Make no bones about that. But, it's when you're in the situation we're in, you've got to knuckle down.
Yeah. But again, the players will hate it. Will they play for him or play against it? It's one of them, innit? It's fine.
Yeah.
You win tells you lose.
And I think you just done it there. It's a flip of a coin as to which way they react. Hopefully they all react the right way and think, right, okay, we've got to dig ourselves out this hole that we've put ourselves in.
Yeah.
But difficult month.
Chris, anything else before we finally wrap it up?
Well, there's quite a few actually, but why is Walsh, Lowe and Bramall being frozen out at the Blues? Do we know why?
Probably had a row.
Something's gone on. The lads have come in and they're not involved, so either the manager doesn't fancy them or something's happened. That's the simple reason.
And Boga?
Now, I like Boga.
I like him.
I think Boga's a match winner. Obviously, the manager doesn't.
But how does he not play for Birmingham? But like he's in the Chelsea squad.
Well, it was funny because George Santos, who we talked about earlier on, is escaped from Marseille. And he was at the Cardiff game, and he came to watch Boga. He wasn't even involved. Now I like Boga because I think if you can get him the ball often enough, he can do something.
Yeah.
He's a young kid. The criticism of him is he's out the game a long time, but that's a winger. Wingers are like that. You can be isolated and be out the game for long periods, but I think if you get the ball often enough to him in a game, he can create something.
And again, the one thing that he's a match winner, and you need players like that because there's not every player that can be a match winner. Chris, anything else? Right, thanks for listening and watching. Good night, good afternoon, God bless. Dev, cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Back in 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks.
On the, what day are we today? Forward, so it'll be the 21st.
Lovely.
21st November. See you back then, kids.
Lovely.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Okay.
Oh, God.